liters per day per tree when they had been putting on a minimum of 150 liters. We go to the next slide. This is the difference in the pattern. We're irrigating subsurface. We have a wetting pattern around the superficial feeder roots. And on the right side with drip irrigation, you can see that the roots are exposed. So what's happening there is we're bearing the roots so that you end up with increased pest infestations and problems with diseases. So we use less pesticides, less herbicides, and we have less disease in our plants. We can go to the next one. This is this farm after we successfully improved the health and reduced the water consumption for the date palms. This entire farm of over 850, I think 900 trees was converted to the system. There are mango, guava, pomegranates, citrus. He's also growing other crops between the trees, aloe vera, hibiscus, sugarcane. So he is modifying and expanding the system all the time. We can go through some of these slides. You can see the health of the plants. This is more images from the farm. The mango trees actually produce twice. We can go to the next one. Dr. Bashir from NARC visited the farm, I believe it was about a year ago, but he experienced and saw the results. We can go to the next slide. These are the date palms out front that we first started with. We're compiling the results of the study after 2 years now and the improved health of the plants and the yield. You can obviously see they're thriving, and that's with half the water that's normally put down. And also half the fertilizer. Again, images from here. So we've got improved plant health. We go to harvest usually 7 to 14 days faster. You need less chemicals. So what we're doing is producing better produce, healthier, more nutritious, with less synthetic fertilizers, less pesticides, less herbicides. We can go to the next one. How do we achieve sustainability? Regenerative low-till farming, other innovations, new innovations, biostimulants, bioorganics, improved seeds, and RDI. So we go to the next slide. This is examples of other applications, using it in vertical tiers in greenhouses to maximize your space. These were crops in Africa. They have high salinity soil, had tried other forms of irrigation and were not successful. You can see the health of the onions is quite good. The strawberries are from Portugal, also grown in California. We can go to the next one. Can we play the video? Will it work? This is the Al-Hatem desert area. This is where we started in a big open field project. Our system is down. You can see the lines go in from a main water line and they go underground. We have 90 to 95% germination. You can see the quality of the soil that we were working with. We did no top watering. The system will germinate seeds. You can see the raised water tanks in the background. So that's a gravity-fed system. We started with about this expanded to about 2.5 hectares the first season. We're expanding into 40 hectares. This is the crop that was seen in that field after 8 weeks. The harvest, we got 3 to 4 ears on every stalk. The farmer doubled the harvest, and he reduced his water and fertilizer inputs by 50% or more. We have had visitors from around the world coming to see the site. The UAE University professor said that farmers had abandoned this area for farming. The soil was high salinity. They couldn't believe the farmer scraped off the rocks. You can see the sand dunes in the background. Scraped off the rocks and just put compost in the troughs where our tube was. That's all the treatment that was done to the soil. This is the quality of the corn, the sweet corn has resulted in that field. He's now expanded, I think, to just 10 hectares of sweet corn in this same field. But after this, what's important is we are not tilling. So we are building the soil health. When this crop was harvested, he cut the stalks, sold that green fodder for livestock, and planted cantaloupe, eggplant, watermelon. We are now planting tomatoes, lettuce, cabbage, beetroot. All of this is growing in that field. The eggplant had phenomenal results as well. These are some of the reports. You can keep going on. We've been collecting data. I have an R&D team in the UAE. So these projects we've been collecting data along the way. We have all of that available for anyone that is interested in the more technical portion of it. Again, you can see the system with its installation, and it's very simple to install, just a traditional header line, and then our tubes go underneath. The tubes are left in the ground. They will survive more than 10 years. It's not a biodegradable material. You leave it in the soil. After you harvest one crop, you just seed the next. They were able to grow year-round in this environment. They use sesame and okra in the summertime. We can go to the next slide. Keep going. What we're seeing in these fields, uniform growth, gravity-fed system. We've done go to the next one. That's okay. We go to the next slide. This is what has happened in that field since the original corn. So you can see eggplant, cabbage, lettuce, tomato cultivation, and then I think it's in the next one is the eggplant. Oh, this is the cantaloupe that we grew last year. This is the eggplant. You can see the health of the plants. If you visit the location, we had a visitor from Japan, and she saw them when the plants first went in. She actually started crying when she came to the field. I've been very fortunate, very blessed to work with individuals who are as passionate as I am about the environment. So it's really exciting to see the results. Can you press on the middle video? This is the system working. What he is showing you is that's under the ground, the soil's damp. This is to have a symbiotic relationship with extract the nutrients they need without adding so many artificial fertilizers. That's the environment we're working in. I think Pakistan has much better resources, so I know we can do a lot here. You can see the system's very low pressure. Again, that's less than 2 psi, and the soil moisture around the roots is in the green zone. That's where we stay. You can go to the next one. This is watermelon grown there, or one of the projects. Again, this is all done by a commercial farmer. Our team has just been monitoring the results. So his staff is installing it. We taught them how to do it, and they're handling it. The watermelon that you see on the right is not Photoshopped. That's from my kitchen. And it's some of the best watermelon I've had in years. The stuff you get in the grocery store does not compare. We can go to the next slide. Does it work in greenhouses? Absolutely. I was there for the first installation in the tomato greenhouse, was over a year ago in September. This commercial farmer has now put it in more than 300 greenhouses and greenhouses. Not only did it improve his yields, so it increased his yield, decreased his fertilizer cost and water use. What happened was we extended, we gave him another growing season. It was so hot that they could not grow crops in greenhouses in Abu Dhabi during the summer months. He was actually able to grow cucumbers in his greenhouse all summer long. You can go to the next slide. This is the installation, very easy. We're just running the tube through grow bags, through cocoa peat. We've got other installations which Mustafa will be talking about. This is the example. You go to the cucumbers. The interesting thing on the cucumbers is normally this grower with hydroponic systems was getting 5 tons per greenhouse. We had 7. So same greenhouses, same number of plants. We just got more, better. Next slide. Again, low pressure, you can see the quality, the health of the plants. The tube is running inside the bag surface. We go to the next one. What's been happening in Pakistan? Thanks to the interest and the educated individuals at NARC, they have been studying this since I came here more than 2 years ago. So Dr. Bashir and his team have been working with the technology since then. And Ivana Farms has done projects in private areas, but these are the types of crops. And yes, we have done dryland rice. You can go to the next one. These are other applications. This is in the UAE, and this is an all-organic farm. We worked with them on doing an initial installation in their greenhouse and also outdoor fields. They also got an increase in production, and what they noticed was less weeds. That was one of his biggest problems with organic farming. So reduce the weeds, reduce the pests, and increase their yields. So they are converting their farm. What is the interesting thing is he has a well and can pump from that. He said, I don't want to do that. I want to put raised tanks in. He said, my energy costs are high. So he is using a raised water tank. He uses a solar panel to pull from the well, fill the tank, and the farm is irrigated with gravity-fed water. You go to the next slide. Is it good? These are just other areas where we're installing. The technical team works on bigger projects. We do training, we do design, so we lay out. This system uses so much less water at such a slower velocity and lower volume at one time that we had to redesign and do new calculation for figuring header lines. But on big projects, our team is there to design. Any of the smallholder farmers, we will have simple instructions for them with pictures, images. We will translate them so that they can easily do an install on their own. And we will give them extra materials on the install so that if they have any breaks in the system, need to replace any parts, they have what they need. Next farm, or next slide. Let me keep going. And we're getting close to the end, I think. It's not moving. This is a project we just started in Mali in the fall. They have 25 hectares. They started with 5 hectares. They're already selling their produce in the market to buy more tubing, more for our system to expand for the entire 25 hectares. They're doing it in 5-hectare plots. So they sell their produce and then purchase the system for the next block. So this is the way the farmers can expand their system, starting out with one, make the profitability. Go to the next one. This is an example with commercial applications, but the system is very diverse and can be used for large projects. So I am going to, we can move on, I should turn it over. We're going to see the installation on big farms. So large farmers can use it as well. This is California with a tape injector. We're using this in the UAE on big farms as well. We're using it in Europe and Iraq. I won't go into this further. We have time for discussions and questions. This system is not only for farms. We have a problem with the planet with raising temperatures and fossil fuels that we're using, also with energy consumption, but agriculture is contributing to the carbon emissions. This system helps reduce the carbon emissions from agriculture. It can be used to increase plant trees. We're working on some projects to reforestation reversal of desertification. And what we are also trying to do, we're removing the burning and the landfill that's given off by the drip systems, because our system stays in the ground. You don't remove it, it lasts for a decade or more. But this system can be used in cities. So we're working with municipalities using treated wastewater to bring more green spaces into the cities. We're trying to reduce the climate of the cities at least by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. If we increase the vegetative covering over areas in the cities, reduce the hardscapes, then we can integrate with rooftop gardens, patio gardens, extended green spaces to improve the temperatures in the city. We can actually sequester carbon by simple measures using treated wastewater. That's all I have. I'd like to turn it back over to Major Perez.
Thank you, Jan. Very informative, and I'm sure several questions must have been coming into the minds of the listeners. We have kept a lot of time to answer the questions by Jan or answer the questions by the subsequent speakers. Now, quickly running to the time, this is Pakistan, and the trial which I'm going to demonstrate, which ran over 14 months from the germination, is a typical owned by Mustafa Abdur Rahman in the area called Haltar. He set up 3 greenhouses, climate controlled greenhouses, and he used particularly RDI into the hydroponic system, which was a challenge for all of us, including Jan. We devised in such a way because you need to modify things according to the application. So I think you will see the miracles this technology has given to Mustafa Abdur Rahman, the entrepreneur. He had all the chances, well-educated person can settle anywhere in the world. But this boy says, no, let me live my life over here. So what he has achieved, he has spent a lot of money, but he has also earned a lot of money. Thanks to Jan for giving RDI. Otherwise, with the conventional hydroponic system, we would have made loss. Over to Mustafa Abdur Rahman to go for the presentation, how you engineered RDI for your hydroponic system. Hello. Oh, this works. Okay.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, all of you, for coming. It's really an honor to be among such esteemed, scientists, researchers, NGO members, people who really care about the agriculture community here. So it's really humbling for me to be a part of such a really diverse and engaged community. I've been asked to speak on privatization, what the private sector has been doing with this technology and how we can make an effort towards agriculture productivity and helping farmers. So this is a bit about my presentation and basically a little bit about myself. And I'm not raising these just for the sake of it. The reason I bring this up is I got my education from Bentley University in Boston in the United States. And my perception of business before going in was all about, economic benefits, but there was a big realization that came from my education was how you can use business for a triple bottom line. Basically, using business as a force of economic benefit, but also as a force for community benefit and environmental benefit. Because I feel like the private sector and the business community has a huge role to play over here. So when I came back, the biggest problem, I remember I was on a plane coming back, and one of the articles said Pakistan will dry up in the next 5 years. That was a daunting thing to understand, because if you don't have water, if we're going to be in such a water crisis, how do we feed this ever-growing population? So that's why I took an interest in the agriculture field and got the ball rolling with that. These are just a few of the certificates I've done from the United States going on. I believe digital marketing was a huge thing when connecting our ideas to the end user, so I've done certifications in that. And I'll be going to the Rodman School of Management in Canada for the University of Toronto, specifically concentrating in agri startups and sustainable finance and supply chains, and hoping to take that education and bring it back here to further help the country and what we can do. So that's just a bit about myself. So you can go on here. So these are basically what we'll be talking about. The company itself.